Hey, yesterday the Black Avenger on the Supreme Court, that would be Uncle Clarence, blocked a judge's order that requires Lindsey from South Carolina to testify to a grand jury here in Atlanta in this criminal investigation of the Orange Vomit and his allies when they unlawfully tried to overturn the results of the 2020 election here in the state of Georgia. But you can always count on the Black Avenger, can't you, huh? I mean, this son of a bitch, I think it's a fact. This sounds very racial, not racist, but racial, but I'll just say it anyway. I think he's been married too long to this white woman who is rotting his brain. Uncle Clarence, you want to get away from her. I mean, she is poison. Of course, you're pretty much poison yourself. But Ginny is one sick woman. But anyway, who's to say why men choose certain women and women choose certain men? But talk about a dynamic duo, these two. Anyway, the Black Avenger spoke up. Uncle Clarence put the case on hold, which he couldn't dismiss it. He just put it on hold during further action, either from the justices of the full Supreme Court or what? I guess there is no or. Let me quote here from Reuters. Thomas put the case on hold pending further action either from the justice, him, or the full Supreme Court, on a request by Graham to halt the order for testimony. Yeah, it was an emergency application, and when they come out of the South in this particular area, then the Black Avenger gets his hands on it. And this was after a federal appeals court denied Graham Cracker's request to block the questioning. But you can always count on these Christian terrorists on the Supreme Court, of which the Black Avenger is one. Now, Lindsey Cracker's argument is that his position as a senator provides him immunity under the U.S. Constitution's clause of, quote, speech or debate clause. And Graham Cracker says that clause prevents him from having to answer questions related to his actions in this criminal investigation. But the Graham Cracker is saying, well, what I tried to do in Georgia was part of my legislative process. These fuckers, I'll tell you, you are prepared for what's coming. What is it, November 8th? Is that election day? In about 2 weeks, you are prepared, aren't you? This is going to be a very rough ride, folks. I don't know if we're going to survive it. I don't think we will as a democratic republic. But it's going to be incredibly difficult once the Christian terrorists take over. Incredibly difficult. I don't know. You know, I've said before over the past, 2 years, I don't know how in the hell to prepare for this. I really don't. Do you arm up? Do you load up your house with lots of weapons? No, I don't think that's a good idea at all. Do you leave the country? No. Why cut and run, even though a lot of us think about it? Boy, it'd be nice living in Canada. Even Costa Rica you can't go to anymore because that country is drifting into right-wing insanity. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say, so I won't do or say anything, all right? Anyway, for Lindsey Cracker to say, well, I'm a senator, and as part of my legislative process, I was involved in the attempted commission of a felony against the people of the state of Georgia. Consequently, you can't do anything to me. I'm home free and clear. I can be as much of a law-breaking fuckhead as I want to be, and you can't touch me. This is the Trump argument. This is the DeSantis argument. This is the Ted Cruz argument. This is the Christian argument. I can do anything I want to do, whether it comports with civil law or not, because I answer to a higher authority, to Jesus bleeding Christ and his daddy God. So I can do anything I want to do, piss on your laws. Now, that is the Christian terrorist attitude. And Lindsey Cracker is the perfect personification of that, with his alliance with the Black Avenger on the Supreme Court. So, if you remember, it's hard to keep track of all these cases, but our district attorney here in Fulton County, Atlanta, Fannie Willis, had subpoenaed Cracker to answer questions about phone calls he made to the assistant to our Secretary of State, Raffensperger, in the weeks after the November 2020 election. Answer some questions, you little rat fucker from South Carolina. Answer questions. No, I won't do it. Even after an Atlanta-based U.S. district judge last month narrowed the scope of the questions that Graham has to answer from the grand jury. And that judge ruled that he is protected from having to discuss, quote, investigatory fact-finding, end quote, that he was engaged in during the calls to state election officials. In other words, the judge down here said, well, he doesn't have to answer any questions about his investigatory fact-finding. Fact-finding? Fact-finding? Oh, my God. The inversion of language. No, the full destruction of language. Well, however, that judge, the U.S. District Judge, said that Cracker may be questioned about alleged efforts to encourage officials to throw out ballots, or what communication Cracker had with the Trump campaign. The district judge here in Atlanta, before this went to the Supreme Court's Black Avenger, that judge, and by the way, his name is Lee Martin Bay, that judge rejected Cracker's bid to avoid testifying altogether. And then, last Thursday, the Atlanta-based 11th Circuit, here in the Court of Appeals, declined to block Cracker's testimony pending an appeal. So that's why Cracker immediately went to the Black Avenger to say, help me, please help me, get me out of this mess. Come on, Uncle Clarence, get me out of this mess. Now, Cracker's lawyers said in his application to the Black Avenger that the testimony that Graham was being asked to provide would, quote, undisputedly, I thought it was indisputably. Oh, well, these are assholes. Would, quote, undisputedly center on Senator Graham's official acts, phone calls he made in the course of his official work, in the lead up to the critical vote under the Electoral Count Act, end quote. You know, I understand that a certain percentage of attorneys are venal, filthy, rotten pieces of human waste. I understand that. I get that. They use the Constitution, the state Constitution, federal Constitution. They use the law to defeat the law. I understand that. But not all lawyers are that way. Just the ones who go into court for scum like Trump or like DeSantis or like Cracker and make these ridiculous fucking statements. For example, that Cracker's testimony would, quote, undisputedly center on Senator Graham's official acts. Official acts. I never knew, as a kid growing up, as a young adult, as a middle-aged adult, as what I am now, I never knew until this moment that one of the official acts of a sitting U.S. senator was to avoid testimony in a criminal investigation in which this rat fucker is directly involved. Well, hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity.
But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.